Good morning. It's a Monday morning. It's sunny, pretty. We're out here. We're gonna finish putting this nitrogen out on this weight. We've moved over to the far side of town. That way, when we come back, we can finish up at the shop. Maybe we'll get this done before lunch. Put 15 gallons to the acre out on this weight. We're trying to record everything, and we're varying amounts of nitrogen we put out on this first shot, trying to dial in how much exactly we need to start putting out on the first shot. We've run anywhere from 10 to 15 gallons. We're going to try to get the information off this screen and add it into my computer. Right now we're crossing this where we cleaned up some this spring. I got a video where there was a bunch of trees through there and we cleaned it up, and I'll put a card up above right here showing where we cleaned that up. Somebody slapped a tree. I reckon who that was. Anyways, there's this little clamp that holds it on, and I bent the bejesus out of it. We got to straighten it up. Work on it. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. It can't never break down, can't never mess nothing up there close to the truck. It's always on the back side of the farm. But we'll use that just to get by for now and fix it right when we get home. nitrogen on. We're down to less than 40 acres. We haven't been pushing super hard. We're knocking the acres out. I'm running a Case IH FM 750. That's the same thing as a Trimble CFX 750. Trimble makes it for Case. I'm running this display runs everything I'll have. Rate control, section control. If I spent $750, I could get a variable rate unlocked, variable rate with nitrogen on the wheat. We're not really ready to do that at this time. But it's also running the Easy Steer. I've run this setup for about 3 years. It was a lot cheaper than the ag leader system I was quoted when I first bought this sprayer. I was running a micro track system in it, and I already had this display, so I added the Easy Steer, and then I bought a used Field IQ module, and then MicroTrack had a harness, and I hooked the Field IQ to the MicroTrack flow meter and control valve, and next thing I knew, I had rate control and section control. Just looking at my old sprayer, you wouldn't think it's much, but when you're coming from a tractor and a 3-point hitch boom, and then you step up to this sprayer with a suspension and a 75-foot boom, it's a big deal. With that John Deere 4640 and had a 3-point hitch sprayer, had a 40-foot boom, had a 40-foot boom and a 300-gallon tank, and when we bought this sprayer we went up to a 75-foot boom with a 750-gallon tank. And if you don't think that don't make a big difference in how much you can spray in a day, you're crazy. I know on that tractor, that right there would have been painful. After probably fixing to run out of fertilizer, down to 20 gallons. Maybe we'll run out on the upper end and not down here on the lower end. There it is, telling me my tank is low. Shot of nitrogen is on the wheat. Always kind of enjoy screaming nitrogen on the wheat. It's normally the very first thing we do for the year when we're screaming nitrogen on the wheat. It means another crop year has started, and it's always fun to start a new year. You don't never know how it's going to turn out. Liking the way the wheat's looking right now. Maybe this nitrogen's gonna perk it up and get her started good. always like to rinse that sprayer off, rinse that old nitrogen off of it. That nitrogen will make it rust. So now I'm sticking the USB drive in. I'm gonna try to pull some files off of this thing. Let's see. We want to go to internal. We don't want to delete no data. We want to retrieve data. Send files to USB. We want Dylan Sims. We want all the Sims phone. What we're wanting to do, I'm wanting to get this, how many gallons were applied, and add it into the software we're using. That way we can keep up with how many gallons of liquid we're putting out and see how that translates to yield. So this is my map where I applied my nitrogen. This is my rate, gallons per acre. And I made 2 check strips through here to see, put out a different amount of 32 to see if there's any yield difference on varying rates. I'll try in the summertime when we cut the wheat, I'll try to lay the yield map over it and see if that made any difference or not. But down here you can also look at, right there's the elevation map. That's the high ground, low ground. You show the speed I ran around the speed. I don't know why you need to know that, but you can tell where I went slow around the edges, you know, watching, and then sped up in the middle of the field. And then there's back to my rate. You can even watch how I sprayed the field.